luckily we've seen a lot of situations where, women are hopeful that it works out with the baby, with the baby's father, and it doesn't pan out, but they're still excited about a kid, right? Or we see situations like a Kehlani where Kehlani was hyped to be a mom. That was a family planned pregnancy where she had a baby and the father is around. We don't need to know what their relationship is. We don't need to know any of that. We just know Kehlani is an incredible mom. She loves being a mother. She's changing the narrative for artists who are living really active professional careers and balancing motherhood simultaneously and doing both in the public eye and doing both passionately and very intensely.
And guess what?
And it's great.
Her business.
Yep. It's her business.
That's her business. And that's what people need to understand. Look how she has taken complete ownership over her business.
Yes.
She decided how she wanted to set her life up. You
Correct.
understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
And what kind of relationship she wanted. She made choices and decisions and she planned.
Right.
And she took care of her business. That's her business. And so it's not up to us to judge it. Right. But we can learn a lot from from just the way that from her approach. We can learn a lot from her approach.
Well, because it also comes down to making the best of the situation doesn't mean forcing a man to be a part of a situation he doesn't want to be a part of. That's not making the best of a situation, especially as a woman. Making the best of a situation, and most of my friends grew up in single parent households. Our mothers did the best they fucking could with or without a man.
Shout out Miss Tammy.
And yes, and MK. And it really had nothing to do with a man's presence or not. Like, my mother made that decision that she wanted to be a mom. It wasn't contingent on whether my dad was going to financially provide or whether he was going to show up. She wanted to be a mom. And the rest kind of figured itself out, which she stood on. You know what I'm saying? And that as a kid, having a mother that's like, yo, this is who I am. I'm owning this. I'm your mom. I want to be your mom. I wanted to be your mom. I didn't care about nothing else. This is the part that's honorable for me. Like, that's so much more impactful and empowering for a kid.
Listen, the world has changed, so these old antiquated views of a husband and wife,
antiquated is a good word.
Fuck, you know what I'm saying?
That's
it just is not.
It is not big word users on this.
It's not relevant to what life looks like today.
Right.
We do have single mothers, single fathers, same sex parent households. We have all these different new ways that the family structure and family unit looks. And so maybe that is, an extension of that, reimagining the responsibility involved in parenting a child or co-parenting if you choose to, or choosing to co-parent. Maybe all of that needs to be re-examined and imagined on a case-specific basis, right? What works for you? Like, you just brought up a beautiful example of Kehlani and your own mother who decided they wanted to be moms and kind of took that, what that means and what it looked like in their own hands.
Yes.
So I think that's what it's about. Me personally, again, I already told you I believe in keeping it player. If it's my baby, I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to take care of the other parent. I'm not going to be a part of those headlines. I'm not going to have that kind of confusion over my kid.
Right.
I want to raise a healthy child. I want them to know that they're loved, whether we in the same fucking house or not.
Yeah.
And to me, you have to have that approach when you make the choice and the decision to be a parent.
Okay. And both of y'all,
that's what I think.
Both of y'all said choice, decision multiple times in that.
Yeah.
And so, we were in LA and I was talking about, getting tattoos. And one of the tattoos that I've wanted to get is actually a definition that stems from Albert Einstein. And it's the definition of insanity. And literally that's what I want. Just those 3 words, definition of insanity. And what Albert Einstein saw it to be is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And I bring that to the Saweetie conversation. We kind of touched on it last week with Rory. But not really in depth. And I wanted to kind of talk about that because I think what a lot of us women do is go after the same type of guy and get mad when we get the same result. And so a lot of us know that in the separation and breakup with her and Quavo, with Sweetie and Quavo, it had to do with infidelity. And kind of she's now allegedly dating Lil Baby, who we know of him to still really be taking parts with Jada, and maybe some other women have also been rumored to be dealing with him as well. And I just kind of wanted to have the conversation. You're with a partner now who you said is so different from who you've been with in the past.
100%.
I wanted to ask even you, and even my partner is way different from who I dated in the past, but I had that conversation with a lot of my friends who are still actively dating. I'm like, girl, you still going after the same motherfuckers. Why do you think it's going to be different with them if they're in the same career path? They're treating you the same, communication style is the same. Why are you expecting something different? So I wanted to kind of break into that conversation. In terms of dating, we have types. But how do you break that mold if you're not finding happiness with your type? Like, I don't know. What is that conversation? How are you guys shifting in finding a different result with who you're dating?
You grow the fuck up.
Well, that's
First of all, the whole type thing is some bullshit. You like what you like. That's it. You know what I'm saying?
Type?
That's not a type.
I like
that means
certain
that
food. That's the type of food I like.
That means you like how that tastes. That's it. That don't mean that's the only shit you eat.
I mean, I like how they taste too.
That's not the only shit you
It's a type.
Taste. Right? Like so like if you're attracted to a certain aesthetic, if you're attracted to a certain character trait, a certain personality trait, that's just what you're attracted to. It doesn't mean that everybody that shares that, that common trait or that common aesthetic is going to behave the same way. It doesn't mean that. Also, grow up, like Bridget said. If you have had an experience with someone, then you now know what to do in the next situation. You almost have a cheat sheet.
Right.
If you're going to date the same exact
type, not type, but
profile.
By
it's
definition,
a similar profile.
Yeah.
We can just call it a profile.
If you're going to do the same thing, then now
Oh, not Criminal Minds.
You have a master key, right?
Are we behavioral analysts?
Why would you expect? Why would you expect?
We should be at this point. Shit.
You just got to grow up to me, like, and
well,
why would
because
you have those expectations?
You go after the same shit because you haven't decided that you don't want the same shit for real.
Oh.
You haven't committed to not wanting the same shit. I started dating somebody that wasn't ordinarily my type because I was sick of dealing with the same shit. I was tired of it.
He was short.
You said what?
He was short.
No, he's not short.
No, she's not a heightist like me.
No, I'm not a heightist at all.
Okay.
I really which I be mad as hell at bitches like Mandy because I'm like, bitch, you 5 foot.
And
easy.
I got my little 6'9"
You could date
giant.
You could date a fine ass 5'9" man and be good.
Why would I?
Not looking to the side. I'm only looking up. That's what she
That's
said.
what she said.
But also, I feel like I have a Napoleon complex, so I got the soul of a 6'4" nigga.
Got it.
It is what it is.
Here's the volume of a 6'4". Yeah.
Got it.
I am loud too. I mean, aesthetically, I do like the same person. The person that I'm with now is way different from I
don't think he's way different.
Yeah, look,
thank you. I don't think he's way different. Aesthetically, no.
No, aesthetically, no. That's what I said. I still have a physical type. I'm shallow as shit.
He's different because he understands things on a deeper level than most of
Because he's older. He got me by almost 20 years.
That's a huge part of it.
But you wouldn't know it experiencing him.
Well, no, also...
He don't feel like,
I mean, I think there's
No,
also,
he does. He feels wise. He feels really wise.
He's
I don't get an old feeling from him. Like,
not old. No.
Yeah.
I don't get old like out of touch.
Like,
It's more
want to go to bed.
It's not old out of
Yeah.
touch. It's not washed. It's definitely giving wise. It's like
I get that
he's
thing.
older
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
seasoned. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but also open to learning because
Yeah.
how I grew up, how I see a relationship is completely different from him. So he's open for change, which I didn't think a lot of older men were into. I walked around believing that you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Oh, 100%. Me too.
You know?
I dated almost everybody that I dated before this partner was younger than me. I was really, I was
you
into
a
the
teacher, bitch.
Listen, I was out here training puppies left and right. Once you teach them not to piss in the house one time, they're gonna be all right. They figure it out.
And next thing you know, you're gonna see spot room. Okay?
They do.
You can only train people so much.
I learned my lesson
For sure.
I learned my lesson, and then I got with Clifford the Big Red Dog, and I was like, I don't need to teach you shit. I'm good here.
Right.
Which still isn't true, right? Which I think is still a myth when you date somebody that's older. It is actually, there is still a lot that you have to teach because
you have to teach them.
There's a lot of things that they
unteach, unlearn. Unteach?
Unlearn.
They have a lot of things to unlearn.
Yep.
Which unlearning itself, I believe, as the older I get, is a much harder process. Even watching my mother age, it's a much harder process than trying to absorb new information.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I don't know if it's impossible. I just think
damn near. It's
damn
hard.
near. That mean impossible right here?
Yeah.
It's right here. You know what I'm saying? It's this close to it, Bridget. I'm telling you. You can't, man. That's why so many fucked up people walking around in the world.
Yeah.
You can give a person all the information, all the resources, everything they need. But if they're not motivated, right, to be better or to move differently or yield a different result, they'll never make the change.
You can guide a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it.
Change, and that goes into we're crossing lines now from romantic relationships
to
into
life,
family,
to life
friendships,
to life things,
professional relationships, all that.
But that's also because I think a lot of people are more motivated by fear than they realize.
Yeah,
I think more people
I told you, my
scared.
therapist told me I live in fear, which is why I
you are
work
such a
so hard, and
person.
I'm such a I live and operate in fear, and so that's what we've been trying to get out of in terms of walking through my therapy sessions. But my mind goes to the worst case scenario all the time, and she's like, "That's hard. Why do you want to live that way? Why do you want to live thinking of the worst place scenario?" But to me, it's always because
the worst case scenario is the only place where you can plan everything.
I was about to say, you ain't gotta.
That's the only way. That's the only place you can be in order to plan.
Get ready and be ready or something. That's what it is.
You literally just dropped a gem, because when things are the best case scenario, it's such an unknown space, right?
Well, because
that you get uncomfortable.
You get uncomfortable and things going right. Something's gonna happen wrong soon.
Well, because we're so used to a lack of peace. That experiencing it, which is
why we have all this unprotected sex and have these kids that we was just talking about.
Yeah.
What we gonna decide, because we just want to feel good. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna hold you.
It's so much calamity.
Now that I've been in a relationship,
I'm
scared to go back to condom sex. What? Oh God, the feeling of it is completely different.
I am
I'm
too,
like,
you think about the alternative.
Well, that part too. Yeah.
To me, it's the dating. It's the dating and trying to rebuild a connection with someone. That's the part that's terrifying to me. Like, even in my partnership now, we go through.
Yes.
What sign are you? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? What do you like to do on your spare time?
I think.
Look, he's ready with the answers. I hate that.